So you were watching the UAP games over the weekend, and you sent out a tweet which caught my attention naturally, and you said that ayaw may import kasi hindi na de-develop yung mga local big guys. Now, explain yourself.
Well, you know that there's a shortage of bigs in the PBA. I mean, quality big men, and it's not
in the Philippines. Actually,
in the Philippines,
yeah,
but
Philippines.
it's not being helpful if the most important developmental stage, which is the UAAP, if you want to go pro, that you need to get all the confidence, the exposure that you need to make the pros or even make, you know, the amateur leagues. And you see that teams are recruiting imports for their teams, and I think that's pretty unfair for the local big men. And I'm just glad that I'm not playing right now because I know that the coaches will always pick the imports because they recruited them all the way from their home countries. And
ginastusan na.
Oo, ginastusan. Talagang gagamitin talaga sila. And kawawa talaga yung mga big men. And that's gonna give them I mean, if imports, they play 35 minutes out of 40 minutes, and that's gonna leave 5 minutes for the other local big men. And kawawa talaga sila. And I feel for them. I'm sure they don't say anything since they have imports in their teams also, but I'm sure sa loob-loob nila, you know, that's frustrating for them. And you can see that a lot of big men are working hard, but how can they showcase what they have if they don't even play?
Yun naman, kung nasa UP ka last year, guarantee, mas marami kang minutes sa import nila. Walang kwenta yung import nila eh.
Well, in general, you know, I'm talking about NCAA and UAAP. Before, I could say before, like in Ateneo, you could say that Zion Later was an import from Australia, and then Kirk Long, but these guys weren't recruited. It just so happened that they landed in Ateneo and they played basketball.
Wrong. They were recruited.
No. Jason Grigg was recruited. Sumama lang si Zion.
Kirk Long.
No, but he was based here.
Grew up here naman eh.
Hindi yung recruitment na lalabas ka pa ng country.
Yung sinasabi niya yung import na malaki. Yung kinukuha talaga kasi malaki sila.
And Zion wasn't like that.
Yeah, Zion
Nakisama
wasn't
lang
like
siya kay Jason
Nasaktan ako
Grigg.
kung wala si Kirk, baka na-line up ako. Kita mo yung development ko.
Sinama mo pa talaga yun? Talaga kailangan mo bagitin yun?
No one was asking. Was anyone asking?
Hindi naman kailangan big man eh. Pwede naman guard.
Kung nangyari yun, walang 5 feet game.
Good point.
Meron ba aircon ngayon? Bakit ano ha?
Nabasag yung drive for 6 nyo yun.
Toxic ha? Toxic niyan. Okay na kayo?
Away.
I know you have strong opinions about imports in the UAP. So share it.
Isipin mo na lang, who was the last local bred or homegrown big man? Significant big man or dominant big man we've had?
What is
Daniel Defonso.
Local bread.
Locally bred.
Okay.
After Daniel Defonso. Diba? Eric Meng, Asitaw Lava,
Rico.
Jervy.
Jervy.
Doug Kramer.
Pero MVP level.
Jervy.
MVP sa PBA?
Sa PBA
Sa
ba?
PBA, diba? Kasi nga, yung development
Rico,
doon,
nag-best player of the conference siya.
yun, pwede, diba? Pero sayang lang na-injure.
So,
Pero diba,
what are you
bihirang-bihira, yung big man na ganyan. Sinasabi nga ni Doug, bihirang-bihira na ang hirap na sa big man na makarating doon. Tapos mababawasan pa yung development.
Mahirap na nga maging big.
Oo nga. Oo.
Pero to look at it from the other side, at least, sa ngayon, safe tong mga veterano.
Bakit?
Eh, walang parating na malalakas na local big man eh.
Tama.
Hahaba ka rin.
Okay, but okay. My problem with this issue is that I don't see a very clear sort of parang middle ground. Dahil if let's say I subscribe to what you're saying, and let's say I'm the UAP and I say, "Oo nga, tama yung si Doug Kramer na yan. Tsaka okay yung For the Win show na yan, ha." At tapos sabihin namin, sige, ano tayo? Let's make a decision. We stop. We won't allow the imports to play. That's also against their rights because they're also student athletes just like everyone else. So, you know, you are risking I guess, medyo discriminatory siya eh.
Yes.
Kasi talagang tinutukan mo, this particular set of players and then bawal, di kayo
So, medyo
pwede.
nakakaawa rin sila because most of them actually are very poor.
Correct.
They can't even
Yeah.
afford their flights here.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's hard on if they want to study. Of course, they're obviously here to play basketball rin. But it helps their future eh. Kahit papaano, I mean, they all just need to survive rin. So, that's the only thing I have against this. But syempre, I agree totally na, it's also against our big men, the development.
And there's really no way to police naman whether they're here to study or to play, di ba? Kung yung mga locals
Yung mga local, ganun din naman yung mga local. Di mo alam kung nag-aaral o hindi.
Sorry, can I add?
Hindi na may ano.
Sige, basta. Go.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think everything started with Sam Ekwe, where teams wanted to match up against him and San Beda in the NCAA, and it carried over where the stronger teams, the weaker teams wanted to match up with the stronger teams, and the only way that they can do that,
Budget.
kasi hindi sila maki-recruit ng mga high caliber players, they always go to the big schools. And so what they can do is they try and get the imports to try and match up.
Yeah, kasi ngayon, halos lahat. Meron
Yeah,
na. Halos lahat. Sa college, doesn't matter if you're a big school or...
Could it work
mid-level
naman
school.
na at least college pa lang marunong ka na makipagbantayan sa import? Or
Pwede rin, I guess. I mean,
kung
there's-
magka-playing time?
Yeah, it goes down to playing time pa rin, and mapipili ka ba sa draft kung maglalaro ka lang ng 10 minutes, and these imports are playing for how many years, and then kawawa ka naman even if you have 5 playing years, yung import mo every year meron pa rin pumapalit sa sa position. And that's the trend of UAAP, di ba? Your veterans will graduate, it's your time to step up. That now it's not like that anymore.
Sa
Pero-
mga ibang
pero
schools,
another-
nakapila na
Another thing is,
Yun yun.
hindi naman pwede magpa-draft yung mga yun
He said it, yeah.
So kung
Yeah.
big man ka, kahit na you're getting 10-15 minutes, pagdating sa draft, ikaw lang yung big man.
Yeah, but your stock will
But
be
it
so
helps
low.
your stunts your development rin, di ba?
Yeah,
I mean,
of
kahit
course.
na, it helps rin na you practice against an import, a better guy, stronger. But
let's
iba pa
face
rin
it,
yung laro eh.
Let's face it. Come the draft, are they gonna base everything on the way you practice? No.
Well, you get your chance in the D-League, ganun pa rin naman, di ba? So,
It carries over your performance there. What confidence will you bring to
that's why,
to
that's
the
what I'm
D-League
saying.
if
That's
you're
what
not
I'm
playing?
saying.
Hindi ba, okay, I totally understand what Doug is saying na, it's about exposure, it's about gaining confidence. Without the minutes, you can't gain, unless super self-assured ka, napakayabang mo na 5 minutes, yes,
May mga ganun.
top 5 pick. Maraming ganun, okay. But also, hindi rin ba pwede apply na, if you're really good, lalabas at lalabas yung galing mo. In other words, kung magaling ka,
naniniwala ako
What
dyan.
percentage is that compared to the top players? I mean,
Kasi import
Bihira
ibababad
eh.
mo eh. May
Bihira
puhunan dun eh. May puhunan sa import.
Labas
So
ka ng
ilalaro
pera.
hindi, di kunyari, if you're if bago dumating si import, you played 5 nung high school. Edi magtrabaho ka, mag-stretch 4 ka. Work on your outside shot, become a more versatile
That's
power
been
forward.
true,
it
Ateneo.
changes the
Oh.
whole complexion eh. Di yung mga power forward naman ng kawawa. Bigs pa rin, di ba? And yeah, it might develop your outside shot maybe para hindi ka na mag-play ng 5. Pero pagdating ng pros, ang hirap
Pero
talaga
ako
eh.
naniniwala ako. Kunyari, school ka, Ateneo ka or Lasal, meron kang malaking player, pero magaling.
Oh.
I wouldn't go out of my way and get an import.
Yeah, only if you have one.
Yeah.
Most schools don't have one. That's why they have to get they have to
Like,
get-
kailangan.
kunwari, kung si Junmar, nag-UAAP or NCAA, kung sa Manila naglaro.
Hindi ka na makukuha ng ibang import.
Hindi na.
Wing
But-
player na
Oh,
yun.
Yeah,
wait,
but-
So
possible.
naniniwala ako sa sinasabi ni Miko na if you're a school and you have a quality big man, you don't need to get
We
an
hope
import.
it's like that eh.
Ang problema talaga is,
Makiki-match up sila sa ibang teams.
ang problema talaga, konti lang ang malaki talaga sa Pilipinas. And number 2, the way the game is evolving, the rules, the changes, it's really going towards small ball. Kaya lalong humihirap yung big man. Eh yung mga pinapadala naman dito ng mga imports, pagdating dito hindi marunong mag-basketball.
tayo yung nagtuturo sa
Oh,
kanila
yun
para
na.
maglaro.
Pero they
Si
still
Ekwe,
play
soccer
35
player
minutes.
yun eh.
So, they still play 35 minutes, and that's 35 out of 40 minutes, and that doesn't leave much for anyone.
Okay, so here's my question, Doug. Will you go as far as to say, imports should be, I'm not going to use the word ban, but should be regulated or maybe even
Deported.
deported? Ano ba?
Seryoso ka na
Hindi
yun.
nga
Yung should schools stop getting imports?
I think they should.
They should.
Yeah.
And even if it means sort of affecting their rights as student athletes to equal opportunity to play for their varsity teams.
Yeah, I see that, but for universities kasi, they see at what will happen this year or the following years. They won't think of if they think that these players will actually make the pros if they have a future. And I think that's why the trend is there na they keep recruiting for imports. I think even the bigger schools now will have Ateneo, LaSalle, they're gonna have their own imports, and I just feel glad that I'm not in the UAP now.
Okay, so Doug is clearly for the careful consideration of getting
Yeah.
imports. Jai,
I
your
have
position.
no problem with imports in the UAAP.
Charles.
Undecided.
You're always undecided.
No, just
About
now.
it.
That's
About-
Magoo.
Just now. That's Magoo.
Ano?
Magu,
Ako nakumbinsi ko dahil sa episode na to. Na ayoko na.
ayaw mo na.
Kasi kung ito pala na lineup, wala si Kirk Long, hindi kayo nag-5 feet dapat.
So, ano nga, seryoso,
Walang
here's your stand.
Ayoko na ulit.
Ayaw mo na ulit.
Hindi dahil kay Charles.
Parang siya nga nakalaro.
Para sa...
Ikaw.
Ako? I totally understand your point. But, I cannot, my conscience, like support a decision that will prevent student athletes, regardless of nationality, they have equal rights to play in the varsity team. I don't think I can support yung pipigilan sila, just because they're imports. Equal yan. Pinoy ka, ano ka. Basta naka-enroll ka sa school, you should be able to play for your varsity team if you're qualified.
I agree with you. So,
Really?
Undecided ka nga, di ba?
I've
Nakumbinsi
decided-
ka rin.
Ang bilis yun naman dalawang
Nakumbinsi!